back with your next class. In today's class, we are going to discuss Mendelian disorders in details, which I have mentioned to you in pedigree analysis already. Now, today we are going to discuss two of the genetic disorders, that is Mendelian disorders, called color blindness and hemophilia. All right. Now, all of you know already that see, there are these genetic disorders that are caused due to mutation, isn't it? And mostly those of the genetic disorders that are caused due to a single gene mutation. Okay, that means the category of gene mutation here I'm trying to say. So those of the genetic disorders which are caused by gene mutation, a single gene mutation, they would be referred as Mendelian disorders because they would be inherited in Mendelian fashion, or rather they would be passed on from the parent to the progeny as per Mendelian principles. Alright, so that's what we are going to start with today. So let us start with color blindness. Alright, so whenever you start studying a genetic disorder, first thing that you must know is what kind of genetic disorder is it. Okay, like from pedigree analysis, you know there can be 4 types of genetic disorders, either X-linked dominant or X-linked recessive, likewise autosomal dominant or autosomal recessive, isn't it? So we are going to start with that. Fine. So color blindness is, first thing, it is a sex-linked recessive disorder. Okay, mostly in your syllabus, those of the disorders that has been discussed, they are all recessive disorders. All right, so it is a sex-linked recessive disorder in which the eye fails to distinguish certain colors, mostly red and green color. So we also call it to be red green color blindness. All right, so the eye does not differentiate between red and green color, and in both the cases, in case of both colors, the eye because it cannot distinguish it, it sees both colors to be the same. All right, that's what is color blindness all about. Fine. Now, as you already know, X-linked recessive disorders, they are mostly found in the males because for males they have only one copy of the gene rather than the females, right? And you also should remember here that criss-cross inheritance that I have told you before, that the X chromosome always passes on from the father to the daughter and from the mother to the son, or else we can also say that the X chromosome passes from the father to the grandson via daughter, and also we can say that the X chromosome moves from the mother to the granddaughter via son. Okay, same thing. This is what is called criss-cross inheritance, and in all types of X-linked recessive disorders, the criss-cross inheritance will follow. Alright, so color blindness will show the pattern of criss-cross inheritance. Alright, so see here, the gene for the normal gene is dominant. Okay, so basically, see, you already know that a gene consists of 2 alleles, isn't it? And when a gene has not undergone any mutation, when it is in the wild type state, that is what is the dominant, isn't it? Wild type itself we call as dominant. Whenever the gene now undergoes any kind of mutation, that mutated gene becomes the mutant type, or what we call as recessive, isn't it? So of course then the gene for normal gene, okay, that means the wild type is dominant over the mutant form, which is referred as XC. C here refers to color blindness. Alright. Now, so the females will be color blind only when both the X chromosome will carry recessive genes. That means a particular genotype of a female, XCXC. This genotype is of a diseased female. Alright. Otherwise, in the presence of one recessive gene, the female will act as a carrier. So if the female has a genotype XC, that means out of the 2 alleles, only one is mutated, the other one is normal. In such a state, the female will behave as a carrier to color blindness. Okay, she will not show any symptoms of the disease but will carry a defective allele. Alright, and so she will have the potential to pass it on to the next generation. Now, however, in the males, the defect appears in the presence of single recessive gene. Now, because I told you already in X-linked recessive disorders, the male has only one X chromosome, the Y being an empty chromosome, does not bear any genes, isn't it? So in that case, the eye color of the male is decided upon by that single allele, isn't it? And if that itself undergoes mutation, that means what? The male directly will become affected, the male directly will be a colorblind, isn't it? And this is the reason why all X-linked recessive disorders in population would be mostly found in the males rather than the females, alright? Another reason is also there why males are mostly affected. See, you know that X chromosome passes on from the mother to the son. Now mother can be a carrier, so she would live a healthy life, isn't it? So from the mother, when the X chromosome will come to the son on the other hand will have only one X chromosome. And if the son has received the defected allele from the mother, just like the mother, the son cannot behave as a carrier anymore. So he directly will become a diseased individual, isn't it? So that's why also the X-linked recessive disorders are mostly found in the males rather than the females, alright? Now, color blindness shows crisscross inheritance, that is males transmit their trait to the grandson via daughter and females transmit her trait to the granddaughter via son. This is very, very important. Alright. Now, in color blindness, a person can do all works normally, only cannot distinguish between certain colors. Now, that's what is all about. See, genetic disorders, they are congenital defects, means they are present from birth. And whenever we say genetic disorder, we usually think about something which is very serious, something that is life-threatening, something that would reduce the chances of survival, isn't it? But color blindness is one such genetic disorder in which the affected individual will not have any problem to live a normal life. The person will have a normal lifespan, will live a normal life just like a healthy person. The only problem the person will face is to differentiate between red and green color, and that usually can be managed, isn't it? You might think that how will that person be able to drive, because in driving red and green signals have to be marked, isn't it, have to be understood. So even that can be easily trained for. Why? Because the red color usually remains at the top and green remains in the bottom. So that way also which one is lighted up, that can be easily seen, and that's how if a colorblind person can train himself or herself, then easily they can drive as well. So they would not have any problem to live a normal life. Only problem here is that the person is not able to say which is the red color and which is green color. Alright. Now, for your exam mainly, what kind of questions are asked from this section? This is very, very important. See? So, if a colorblind man, that is XCY, genotype will be of course XCY, marries a carrier female, of course the carrier female will be what? Carrier female will be XCX. Only one of the allele will be mutated, the other would be normal, isn't it? So, the progeny affected would be, that means if such a marriage take place, so how much of the progeny will be affected? Okay, what percentage of their progeny will be colorblind? This kind of questions are very common and they are frequently asked. Okay, so try to understand this very properly. So the female is XCX, okay, and the male is XCY. So in that case, the progeny would be, see here, XCXC. That means a colorblind daughter would be born, a colorblind son would be born. Likewise, a carrier daughter would be formed, and a healthy son would also be formed. So in that case, how much of the percentage of their progeny is colorblind? 50%, isn't it? 50% of the progeny is colorblind. Understood? Alright. Likewise, if the question changes, what percentage of their daughters would be colorblind? If that is asked, in that case, out of the daughters, also 50% is colorblind, 50% is carrier. So in that case, the answer remains to be 50% itself, isn't it? So likewise, a little twist and turns, a little bit of change of words would be, presented to you in the form of questions. But more or less, the question would revolve around the same type of problem. okay, that if a colorblind man, suppose, marries a healthy female, so what percentage of their progeny will be colorblind? This kind of questions are very commonly asked, and I think all of you would find it very easy to answer as well if you have understood pedigree analysis and every of that part properly. If you have practiced it well, in that case I don't think so it would be a problem for you. Alright, but do remember, it's a very important question that's asked from this section. Alright, so the last thing is that color blindness, being X-linked recessive disorder, is more common in the males than in the female. After all, due to crisscross inheritance, and because the males, they would possess only one copy of the X chromosome. That's why, of course, the male do not have any kind of, opportunity here to behave as a carrier. They would be directly affected. So that's why color blindness, just like every other X-linked disorder, X-linked recessive disorder, would be mostly found in the males rather than in the females. Alright, I hope all of you are clear about color blindness. Now try to solve questions that are associated with this kind of problems, okay? Of course, you will get such kind of questions very frequently. So this kind of questions, as many as you can solve, that would be better for you. Alright. Now let's move on to the next disorder, that is hemophilia, which is commonly known as Bleeder's disease. Now hemophilia is known as Bleeder's disease. Why? That's because here the affected person has certain kind of, or do not possess, normal blood clotting proteins in his or her body, due to which whenever there is even a minute amount of cut, like in your day-to-day life, you sometimes get certain kind of cuts, isn't it, which we don't even care about because they would heal by themselves. But for a person suffering from hemophilia, because they lack certain kind of normal blood clotting protein in their body, that's why their exposed blood does not clot easily and they might sometimes bleed to death. Okay, that's why we call it Bleeder's disease. Alright, understood this? But then the hemophilia, also being X-linked recessive disorder, its inheritance pattern will be exactly like color blindness. Okay, so if in this question that was regarding color blindness, instead of color blindness, if I put the word hemophilia, your answer would not change at all. It would remain the same. So pattern of inheritance for both the disorders remains same. Why? Because after all, both are X-linked recessive disorder. Do remember that. Alright. Only that in case of hemophilia, we do not mark the defected allele to be XC. Here we would mark it as XH. Okay, where H means hemophilia. Alright. So see here. It is X-linked recessive disorder in which affected individual possesses a defective form of blood clotting factor, due to which the exposed blood fails to coagulate. Alright. Now, it is inherited in exactly the similar manner as color blindness, which I told you already. Now see, these are certain important facts regarding hemophilia. That is, the possibility of a female being hemophiliac is extremely rare in nature. Why? Because for a hemophiliac female to be born, just like here, like colorblind female to be born, this kind of a female will only be born when the mother is a carrier and father is also colorblind. Okay, so such kind of a female, for hemophiliac female, will be only formed when the mother is a carrier to hemophilia and father is already a hemophiliac. Alright, so such a combination usually would never occur, right? So that's why hemophiliac female being born is very rare in nature. Okay, so see here, the possibility of a female being hemophiliac is extremely rare, as mother of such female has to be a carrier and the father has to be a hemophiliac. Also, hemophiliac females mostly would die before birth. It would result into a stillbirth, means dead child would be would be born. So in that case, most of the time hemophiliac female does not survive the delivery. Alright. Now, another very important thing regarding hemophilia is very important. See this point. Queen Victoria was a carrier of the disease. Okay, Queen Victoria was a carrier of hemophilia, and of course when the mother is a carrier, directly the X chromosome of mother comes to whom? The son. and the son does not have the opportunity of behaving as a carrier. So the son would become what? Directly would become a hemophiliac. So in that case, many of our male descendants had hemophilia. So because this is a genetic disorder that runs in the royal family, that's why hemophilia, apart from being called as Bleeder's disease, is also known as royal disease. Alright, it is also known as royal disease. Alright, now types of hemophilia. Now hemophilia can be of two types. One is hemophilia A. Here, the affected individual cannot synthesize a blood protein called anti-hemophiliac globulin, AHG, required for normal blood clotting. Thus, even a small cut can make the person bleed to death. So, this is more severe form or more commonly found in nature. Hemophilia A is that particular type of hemophilia where AHG would be missing in the body of the affected individual, leading to hemophilia. Alright. Whereas hemophilia B, here the protein that would be missing or would be defected in the body of the individual is blood plasma thromboplastin protein. Alright. So this is another clotting factor that would be affected here in case of hemophilia B, and that's why the person suffers from the disease. It is also called Christmas disease after the first person who was detected with hemophilia B. Alright. Now, inheritance here of hemophilia B is exactly like hemophilia A. Alright, so as I told you, in hemophilia as well, the same type of questions would be asked. Say, a hemophilia or hemophiliac man marries a normal female, okay, whose father was hemophiliac. Okay, the normal female's father was a hemophiliac. So what would happen? Now, you of course know that from father, the X chromosome might have come to the daughter, and the daughter is normal, but she has to be a carrier then. So in that case, what kind of cross would you have to do? You would have to form a cross between XHY, that is a hemophiliac man, and XHX, that means a carrier female, and that's how you would understand or you would get your answer. Alright, so this kind of questions would be frequently asked, as I'm telling you repeatedly, all of you. This is very important a part. All of you practice it well. So I hope all of you have understood properly regarding color blindness and hemophilia. So this much for today's class. In the next class, we'll start with sickle cell anemia.